Hey guys, what is up? It is me, Pagey, here once again with another video on mainly The Flash, but just everything as a whole. So if you've been a subscriber to the channel for over a year or so, you would know we usually did our Q&A videos, where obviously you would send in questions and I'd provide the answers, but I haven't done one in a while, or even just included viewer questions at the end of some videos, so I thought I would do another one, so I asked you guys a few weeks ago to leave some questions, and I've now gotten around to doing the video. And I will maybe continue them every now and then if you guys want them, but yeah. Now, of course, this is a good medium for those that can't join the live streams that we do on the channel to ask questions for whatever reason that might be that you can't be there. But of course, if you have any questions that aren't brought up in this video, feel free to leave them in the comment section down below for another Q&A video in the near future. And if you do have a different perspective on a question in the video that I do answer, feel free to leave that in the comments as well. And of course, if you're going to enjoy the video, just to show your support, why not drop a like on it? It helps a lot. So yeah, I think I've got I think it's 8 questions here. I just really quickly picked 8 questions that sort of go over a broad range of topics, if you want to call it. So yeah, let's just jump into it. So the first question comes from VazFN, and they go, "Hello, Pagey." Hello, VazFN. Question slash theory: is the Flash show based on an alternate timeline? Because before Thorne killed his mother, he and Barry were already enemies and had to make the particle accelerator 15 years early. So is the original timeline based on Barry in his early 30s, or did he become a speedster another way? So I know for a fact that the particle accelerator was meant to launch 7 years. It was in 2020. So 2020 is when the particle accelerator in the original timeline went off, and that's when Barry Allen presumably got his powers. I think they say, or they allude to the fact that I think we know that the particle accelerator in the original timeline didn't do the explosion thing that happened that we see on the show, or that happened in Arrow and then in the Flash pilot. But it still, I guess it did something that happened on like Earth 2 with Zoom, where it sort of released the dark matter, and then that's how Barry got his powers, or like it influenced the weather and then hit him with lightning, or it was a mixture of the two, something along those lines, but it didn't explode. I'm pretty sure that was said on the show or alluded to. But yeah, it happened in 2020. So Barry Allen would have been, in his early 30s when he originally became the Flash. And they haven't really done the storyline, which is something that I wish they would do on the show. They might do it in the final season, whenever that might be, who knows. But that's like a Bart Thorne origins, where they would really show why he and Barry, or he and the Flash, become enemies. And I would assume they get on the route where the Reverse Flash is sort of obsessed with the Flash, and that's why he gives himself speed, and that's how the negative speed force comes into play. Will they do that? I'd hope so, but it's they'd be enemies. They'd be enemies. I guess it'd just be how they would set up like Reverse Flash going after Barry. Would it be because he learns through the Flash Museum that he and Barry are meant to be enemies, or would it just be through some other mean? I'm not too sure, but yeah, hopefully I answered the question. I think I did. Shadow Killer, or Killy8R, Killy8R? I think that's how I say it. Anyway, how do you feel about the direction of the Flash and its insistence on talking I think I'm going to say bad characters down, rather than fighting against them physically? Look, it's an issue, and the thing is that it is a thing in the comics that the Flash will try and see the best in everyone, if you want to call it, or try and go through the non-violent matter. However, the show, I'd say, especially in season 7, but you can even argue in portions of season 6 as well, has this insistence that like none of the villains are actually evil. I think that like they have to realize that people are just bad. And especially if someone's going around killing people, like they are just bad. There's like, you shouldn't be able to see, okay, is there any remorse in there? Like, just take them down and then deal with it after, especially when they are metahumans and they are just going to stand there and say, oh, I'm just going to sit here and listen to the Flash talk me down. Like, if it's a villain, they're going to attack the Flash straight away, which then the Flash would have to retaliate, you know what I mean? So, if it was like 1 or maybe 2 out of every 10 villains where, the talking down happened instead, I think I would be fine with that because it fits with the character. But when you head to the point where you would argue it's the majority of villains, like I'm not saying like we had 10 villains where it happened to in season 7, I don't think that happened, but just like if we just put into like a ratio, it's just a bit boring. You know what I mean? It's just too much. As I said, if it was like 2 out of every 10 villains, I'd be fine with it. But when you head to like it's 6 or 7 out of 10, God forbid 8 out of 10 villains that's happening to, then it just doesn't work. So, and it's not like like I see people say it's to save budget. It's not, because in that exact same episode they'll do some big VFX sequence which would cost the exact same amount, if not more, than having a fight. So it's just like, why do it? Next question sort of leans into that, and that's Jack Doherty. Hopefully I'm pronouncing that correctly. How would you save the Flash for next season? Like, how would you write it? I've seen this thing like the Flash needs saving, and I think the Flash it just had one bad season. Like, I know season 5 was a bad season as well, but I'm talking in regards to like the current regime with like Eric Wallace being in charge. Season 6, and I'll defend it, is a great season. I know some people don't like it for some certain aspects, but for me, it's very consistent, very exciting season. And I don't think a lot of people. I think the fact it didn't get to finish properly hurts it, or probably hurts it. But I love season 6. It's my third favorite season. The issue with season 7, and I said this in the video I did, it'd be about a week ago. I think it was like what went wrong with this with season 7 of The Flash or whatever it was. You can go to my channel and watch the video if you want to. So it goes deep into it. But the key episodes of the season were bad, because I think 13 out of the 18 episodes that we got in season 7 are decent to good, if not great. There's some really really good episodes in there, but the 5 episodes that are bad are in really key areas. Like episode 3, which is the finale to the Mirror Master one, not a good episode. Feels like it's a hodgepodge of like just trying to cram a lot of stuff in, but then also not doing a lot at the same time. It felt really weird, just didn't work. Then you have episode 10 and 11, which are the finale for the Force storyline, which I think are the 2 worst episodes of the season. I have to say, I think they're the worst 2 easily. So you have episode 3, which is a finale, 10 and 11, which is a 2-part finale, and they're both in the, they're 3 of the 5 worst episodes of the season. And then you have episode 13 and 14, might I say, which are the Cecile episode and the Allegra episode, which are just following the Force storyline. So within the space of 5 episodes, you have 4 of the worst episodes of the season. The only good episode in that 5 is the Goodbye Cisco episode. And that's clearly the point of the season where everyone went, what the hell? And they just sort of, I don't want to say they clocked out, but still finished the season, but just clocked out mentally, or clocked out in regards to enjoying it. But man, that was a rough, I think there was a break in there. So it was about 2 months, technically, I guess, on like the calendar. I think there was like a 2 or 3 week break in between some of those episodes. But that was rough. That was rough. And it was really rough to talk about the show at that point, because you just knew it wasn't going to be good, because we knew that those Cecile and Allegra episodes were coming, and they were taking away from the Godspeed arc at the end of the season, which obviously need another episode or 2 to flesh that storyline out. So in retrospect, I don't think they would do that. I think if you asked Eric Wallace and you gave him a truth potion, he would say, yeah, probably shouldn't have done that, but what's happened has happened. What's done is done. So I'm looking forward to season 8. I think everyone should. I know everything I've seen about the show and heard about the show in regards to season 8 gets me positive about it, and I don't lie. I'm usually honest with you guys in regards to what I'm looking forward to and what I'm not, and I don't really see any negatives at the moment. Let me be clear. At the moment, heading into season 8. Yeah, but if I do see anything, I'll let you know. This is from Typical Tav, who says, what's the most underrated Arrowverse villain according to you from any Arrowverse show? I'm not too sure. I can only think of like Arrow and Flash, to be completely honest. Like Flash, I personally think it's DeVoe. I don't think a lot of people talk about DeVoe, and I think DeVoe gets sort of ruined a lot of people's eyes because of the body swapping. But when it's Neil Sandilands, like the proper Clifford DeVoe, I think he's great. I think he's like top tier villain material, and I loved his portrayal of the character. And I wish they hadn't done the body swapping for so long. I think the body swapping was essential for the story, but it went like, I think it was like 7 episodes that body swapping went on for, and it was just too long. Like it should have been like 3, 4 at most. Like 4, you're stretching it as far as you can go, but 3 would have been ideal, I guess. But it went for like 7 episodes, or even more. I think it went for 8. It was just too long. But when it went back to him being DeVoe, it was awesome, and I think he's very underrated because of that. And in regards to Arrow, I actually think it's similar to another thing, like, getting stretched out and potentially ruining a lot of people's opinions on it. But season 1, Malcolm Merlyn, like, because they used Malcolm Merlyn so much after that and like changed him into this, well, didn't change him, but turned him into, like, made him this character, like with Thea and everything. And then they used him on Legends and stuff like that. I think they took away from that character. But if you just focus on season 1, Malcolm Merlyn, I think he's awesome. And I would have, preferred if maybe he's in season 2, that's fine. But it's just because he got stretched out so much over the show. And I understand they wanted just to use John Barrowman, the actor, but at the same time, like, it sort of like takes away from the character at the same time. So if just season 1, Malcolm Merlyn, I think it's underrated because a lot of people forget about it because he got stretched out over so many seasons and a couple of different shows. Different language, I can't read it, I'm sorry. It has XD at the end, which is like the laughing face. So I'll just go laughing face. How many more seasons do you think they'll keep the Flash running for? It's really however long Grant Gustin wants to do it. The thing is, I thought season 8 might have been the last, but the thing is, they haven't said anything. Like, they haven't said anything. Like, knowing the fact I'm saying this now, they'll probably announce it this week. But usually they announce, especially for shows gone for like about longer than 4 or 5 seasons, especially on like outside of like maybe like Fox. Like, Fox is a weird network that will just announce a show's ending like 2 weeks before the finale, even if it's been on for like 6 or 7 years. But usually with a lot of network shows, if they've been on for 4, 5, 6 seasons, they announce it before even the previous season ends or before they even start filming the last season. And The Flash has been filming for about a week and a half, 2 weeks or something at the moment. So they haven't said anything. There's been no hints at it. So if they're going to announce it, they'd have to announce it, I guess, somewhat soon before it gets out there. But yeah, we'll have to wait and see. Like if we use Arrow as an example, Arrow was announced as ending, like I think a month before the season 7 finale. So the previous season's finale was announced that it was ending. So you think they would use the same method for the Flash because it's pretty much the same length, but yeah, it hasn't happened yet. Mika Griffin asks, what superhero show would you like to see brought to the CW or HBO Max, and what would be your idea for a crossover? In regards to the CW, I really wouldn't be able to give you an answer because they seem to be leaning into the newer material in the comics. Like, we use like even like the Wonder Girl show that was going to happen. Like, she hadn't even appeared in the comics at the time they announced that it was going to happen, that they were like working, it was in development, but it didn't end up happening. It might still in like a year or two, but it's not happening now. And then Naomi's only been like has one run in the comics, and that's about it. There's not a lot of history there. So either when it hits to season 2, I guess they're going to be making up stuff, or as the comics are being made, they're adapting that into TV or something along those lines. In regards to HBO Max, I mean, now that Red Hood's on Titans, I wouldn't mind like a Red Hood and the Outsiders sort of show. I think that it could be somewhat interesting. Or maybe like a JLA, like a Justice League of America, where it's like smaller characters still in that Justice League setting. I don't know if they'd be able to use Justice League of America, but that'd be a cool show in my opinion on HBO Max with a bigger budget, and stuff like that. I think that'd be pretty cool. Marvel DC Extinction Wrestlers. That's a mouthful. Which season did you have a frustrating time watching more? I guess the Flash season 7, Arrow season 4. Flash season 7, like Arrow season 4 is the worst Arrowverse season. It's not the worst DC TV season. Unfortunately, Titan season 2 takes that. But Flash season 7 was frustrating because, as I said before, the majority of the episodes are good/decent. It's just that the key episodes are really bad, and it ruins the season. So that's why it's frustrating. Well, Arrow season 4 was just not really good. You just knew it wasn't really going to be good while you're watching it. Really from the beginning, it just like the villain didn't fit, the tone didn't fit, just didn't really work as a whole. But Flash season 7 is frustrating because like the majority of it is good in regards to episodes, but the key parts are just not good. And that's what ruins it and makes it frustrating. And finally, Tyler Cronin asks, do you think Cronarch, not Cronin, but Cronarch, will be the villain in season 8, seeing how Abracadabra name dropped him this past season? I think I made a video talking about Cronarch, at least just talking about his comic connections and everything like that, and how it could play into the show. I don't know if it was just a random name drop because it is Abracadabra related in the comics, or they actually are setting up something. I have no idea. We know he's not the villain in the crossover at the beginning of season 8. That's Despero. But maybe they could use him. It could be like a DeVoe-like name drop or something along those lines. We'll have to wait and see. Would be hard to implement him on the show, I think, just because it is a bit weird. It is a bit weird, but they could make it work and put their own twist and adaptation of the character on the show if they wanted to. I wouldn't necessarily be campaigning for it. I think it'd be okay if we got it, but it's not like my top 3 villains that I want to see, if you know what I mean. So I'd be fine if we got it, but I wouldn't necessarily be campaigning for it. But yeah, guys, that's the questions. If you have any more, feel free to leave them in the comment section down below, as well as any of your opinions in reply to some of these questions. You can leave your own answers to them in the comments as well. And if you want to leave a like on the video as well, it'd be awesome if you could do that to support the channel and everything like that. And of course, if you are new to the channel, make sure to subscribe. And yeah, I'll catch you guys later. Goodbye.